Hey guys, Enter the Stars, and we're back with another episode of Between the Headlines. Now, I'm going to start this episode out with some positive things going on in the world. This is the Washington Examiner, and according to this article, the Chicago Police Union says H no to Lightfoot's CV-19 mandate. Now, when I was, well, we're not going to go there, but talk about being in the land of the lost. A leading Chicago police union opposed an impending mandate from Mayor Lightfoot that requires all city officers to get the CV-19 VC. The president of Chicago Fraternal Order of Police said that the group is 100% against the mandated stickers for our members. Now, this is great news, because if an entire police department can stand up like this, this is the kind of thing we need, and we need it across the nation. Now, in doing just a little bit of research, I was able to find this article from 2016 at the start of the TMan Tarump presidency. And according to this was 4 years, almost 5 years before the Spamdemic. He was perfectly set up to make a ton of money on his stock portfolio. Pfizer, obviously, the company that has been approved by the F to the D to the A. Here's GlaxoSmithKline. This was Moncef Slaoui, his frontman for Warp Speed. And, of course, Walmart, which was one of the only stores that were allowed to remain open. As well as J&J, of course, who also made a sticker. How is this possible? Well, we know how it's possible, because that's what these people do. They plan things in advance. I mean, if I were a betting man, I would say he made a ton of money. And I would bet on this if I was a betting man. But I'm not, of course. But this is how the world goes these days. This is why there is a class of people who can never get ahead, because the game is rigged. Now, of course, the window is rapidly closing to gather evidence on the origins of the CV-19. Of course that's the case, because they're going to cover it up. I mean, were we expecting anything different? And yet, here they are with the cover-up. And of course, they'll say, oh, the evidence is gone, and had we not stalled, had we took this seriously in the beginning, we would have found the evidence. Well, of course, everybody knows that the T-Man was blowing the whistle. But, of course, because of the right-left paradigm, they depicted him as crazy, right? That's how the right-left paradigm works. He knew nobody was going to look into it. And so here we are. Now, of course, the pressure is relentless on those of us who still won't get it. They set this up so that people would believe that once it's got approval, that they would then go get it. That's what all of the chatter has been about. And now the people that don't get it, they're trying to make you look like fringe, like an outsider, like not part of America. But that was the setup from the beginning. This article says, I'm still not planning to get it. The FIDA approval is not swaying some holdouts. Let's see what they have to say about this. Oh, of course, they give a personal story that can't be confirmed. For 5 months, Chris Brummett has ignored his wife's pleas that he get the sticker. He cares even less that Fed regulators finally issued a long-awaited approval for one of them. My wife is on me all the time to do it, said Brummett from Jackson County, Indiana, who followed news this week of the FIDA approval of Pfizer's sticker. But Brummett, a libertarian, critical of both. So now they're trying to lump the libertarians in here. First it was the right. now all of a sudden it's people that are critical of all administrations. So that's us, you guys. I ain't no libertarian though, but they're going to try to use that label. Why? Because they've already set up the paradigm of the libertarian. So now they can put you in that basket, and then everyone thinks that you're a libertarian, which have some very extreme views that I don't agree with. So here's where things are headed. They're now on to other groups. They're going to go after every group in these headlines. Now, they are finally admitting that there are breakthrough cases, but that too, they're going to blame on the people that haven't gotten it yet. Look at this story. Breakthrough CV-19 cases, uncommon and often mild, but not always. Now, I want you to look at how they word this article. From Myra Smith and her mother. July promised a glimmer of normalcy after months of isolation. The two flew from Alaska to Houston and visited family, celebrating the first birthday of their cousin's granddaughter. Smith's mother brought a patterned pink onesie to give as a gift, and they all snapped photos of the baby's face smeared with chocolate. Smith, 46, knew that her cousin's family was not stickered, but tried not to dwell on that. She and her mother had both received these Pfizer stickers months earlier. In the hotel room one evening, Smith's mother made an offhand comment to her relatives. You could take your masks off, but you have to promise to get stickered. The next morning, Smith and her mother headed home on a layover to Seattle Airport. When they got the phone call, their relative's baby had come down with a fever and tested positive. 2 days later, she woke up feeling like she had been hit by a truck with body ache, sore throat, tested positive for the CV-19. The next week, her mother, who's 76, has lung cancer. Texted her on emoji of thermometer indicating she too had a spike fever. So they're trying to say that all these people came down with this because they got together, right? Again, one of these stories you can't confirm. You can't go on anyone's social media and confirm all this. But they put these stories out there. Public health experts continue to believe that breakthrough infarctions are relatively uncommon and rarely result in severe illness or hospitalizations. Stickers available in the U.S. offer powerful protection from serious illness. Now, they're saying rarely result in severe illness or hospitalizations, these breakthrough infarctions. But think about that for a second. It's rare to even be hospitalized when you get the 19 to begin with. I don't know what the statistics are, but it's rare. Just because you test positive does not mean that you're going to go to the hospital. So this is kind of a general statement. They're not giving us a statistic here. They're just saying that it's rare. Okay, that's a very general statement. And this statement too, the stickers available in the U.S. offer powerful protection. Well, how powerful? Well, obviously it's waning. And do they have statistics on this? From serious illness, hospitalization, and death? I mean, have they done the numbers? 9 in 10, 19 cases that resulted in hospitalization occurred among people who were not fully stickered. We always anticipated that there would be some breakthrough infarctions because the stickers at their very best were 95% effective. Now, this is another statement because this is not true, because they were told us that the 95% effectiveness was the minimum, not the very best, that this was the minimum, that it wouldn't drop below this. Because if it dropped below this, then why didn't they give us the statistic below this efficacy rate, like a range, like from 50 to 95% or something? So this is another loaded statement. Now, we're not going to break this article down anymore, but you get the gist here. This is what we're dealing with. They're not being straightforward with these breakthrough cases. So here they are. They're roasting us. Sticker conspirer teeterists become even more desperate after full FIDA authorization. Now, this is interesting because what they did is exactly what I told you they were going to do. You know, the wording that they gave in this approval. They made it intentionally fuzzy so that everybody would be fighting over that, so that they can then say, see, look at them. They're not going to believe anything. We just approved it, and they're still not believing us. It was a setup. This is why I told you guys. Doesn't matter if it's really FIDA approved or not. That's not the litmus test by which we wanted to, deny this anyway. That wasn't the benchmark to begin with as to why a lot of us don't want the sticker. And so by them getting us all debating over was it really approved or not, it doesn't matter. It's a non-issue. So here they are, they're roasting us again. They're saying that look at these theorists. Let's read this. For many months, sticker skeptics and critics of the sticker mandates have pointed to the fact that the CV-19 was only under the EUA, Emergency Use Authorization. So when the FIDA approved it this week, it says fully authorized. These folks had some accounting to do. Well, I never bought that premise to begin with. I never accepted their premise to begin with. This is about bodily autonomy and what, the rights that you have in this world, walking around this earth. Now, so far, they've got this not mandated, but they're taking away a lot of things that we believed that were part of the freedom of America. They've taken away if you don't get it. So far, it's in this legal gray area because employers have a right to hire or fire anybody they want. Businesses have the right to do whatever they want in terms of who they're going to serve and who they don't. That's part of freedom, unfortunately. But they are being incentivized by the federal government to basically take away your freedom. That's what's going on here. And we'll get into that a little bit more later in the show. But you got to be careful how you set up your defense on this. Because if you buy their premises, you will lose because they've already got their argument closed. They've already got it set up. These people are smart. I mean, this is fallen angel intelligence here, you guys. They will talk you in circles if you let them. So it says here, increasingly, some of them have landed on a rather conspiratorial idea that seems likely to rear its head moving forward, particularly as employers push forward with mandates. The claim the FIDA didn't really fully authorize the sticker. You see the problem here now? I hope you guys are starting to understand what's going on with this. Now, I'll link all these, of course, in the pinned comment. Here's a funny story. The Crapit Hole police are suing the TMan because of their alleging that this was an act of terrorism. So 7 officers are now going to sue. Good luck with that. I don't think that's going to work out. But, they got to keep this right-left thing going. They've got to keep the T-Man in his position on the chessboard as the right-winger. He still has a lot of followers, which I can't even imagine how that is even possible after the biggest honey trap in history. Remember, to this day, the T-Man is still pushing the sticker. Of course he is, because he's invested in Pfizer. Of course he's going to keep pushing this. And to this day, he has not said one word in defense of the 600 plus people that are sitting in jail for simply walking through in the door into a public building. Now, these are the kind of stories that drive me nuts. Half of U.S. workers favor the mandate. No, they don't. Where did you get this poll? How many people were in the poll? Let's read, see if they give us any of that information. Half of American workers are in favor of a sticker requirement at the workplace, according to a new poll, at a time when such mandates gain traction following the government's approval of the FISR. The poll from the Associated Press shows that 59% of remote workers favor the requirement in their own workplaces. What? You're a remote worker and you still want? That doesn't make any sense. Compare with 47% of those who are currently working in person. That doesn't even make sense. So obviously we have no idea who made up these statistics. I don't buy it. Can't imagine that people would make other people get this. Or maybe that's where we're at in America. I don't know. Illinois, requiring educators, health workers to get the sticker. Breaking news, if you live in Illinois, if you're a teacher or you work in a hospital, this is what's coming. How could this happen? I don't know. But this is what's going on. And the pressure continues because now it's going to cost you money to not get the sticker. Now, we all heard about Delta Airlines are charging people $200 more a month in health insurance premiums to make you get the sticker. Now they're saying the average cost of hospitalization is 20 grand. At $200 a month, it would take 100 months of added premiums or more than 8 years worth to cover the cost of a CV-19 hospital visit. Extra payments are meant to impose some accountability on the unstickered workers. So that's what's going on with that. Now you can imagine that a lot of other employers are going to follow suit if they could find a way to stick you with whatever they want. They're going to do it. Now we're going to talk about some other incentives that these corporations have been given to get you to get a sticker. They get a tax write-off. If you have less than 500 employees, you can get up to $500 per day for each stickered employee in time off work. You guys, that's a lot of money. $500 a day, 500 employees. Let's say you have 498 employees and half of them, or let's say you mandate the sticker in that business, and every day that they take off, let's say you give them 3 days, say, hey, take 3 days off, go get the sticker, come back in 2 or 3 days. And even if this was a paid time off, they're still getting this write-off. Now, we all know how write-offs work. The more expenses you have, you write that off and you pay less taxes. So it's basically, essentially, money in your pocket. And this is why employers are being incentivized to mandate this, because they're getting money for it. Just like the churches were getting money, which is why they're telling some of their people to get the sticker. So the dragnet is closing in, and now it's going to cost you money if you don't get stickered. And of course, they're going to run these stories in the South. Alabama doctor, they're claiming, says he wishes everyone was mandated to have the sticker. Now, why would they run these stories from the South? Because they're coming after the South too. If you can't see the concerted effort by the media and how they're trying to turn this into a right-left paradigm, then you're not seeing the whole picture. Sticker mandates are on the rise after the FIDA granted full approval. Number of CV-19 cases climb nationwide. I wish everyone was mandated to have the sticker. It's a political problem, particularly in the Deep South. They're making it a political problem. It has nothing to do with politics. It has everything to do with bodily autonomy. My body, my choice. Your body, your choice. If you want to protect yourself and isolate yourself and wear a mask and stick yourself all over your body like Pinhead from Hellraiser, do it. But you should never make that something that's mandatory for everybody. Now, what else does this guy say? Dr. Thrasher, Director of Respiratory Services at Jackson Hospital in Montgomery, Alabama, told Yahoo Finance, I don't want the government telling me what to do, but this one, what? But this is one for the common good? I've heard dictators use that line before in justifying horrible things. So, and Last but not least, for those of you that were following the Scott Peterson case, this just broke. Apparently, his sister-in-law claims there's new evidence that will prove his innocence. Now, I've been on the fence with this whole case from the get-go. This almost seemed to me like some kind of ritual sacrifice thing or something. And I don't know what kind of evidence she has. Let's see what's going on here. She says she believes he's innocent of taking out his wife and unborn child. Many of you will remember the story. We covered this on a couple shows over the years because I was in that area while Scott Peterson and his wife, they ran this restaurant called The Shack, and I was going to school at Cal Poly San Luis Obispo during those years. I think I ran into the guy a couple times at a party. He was there. I think we overlapped like 1 year, my freshman year and his last year. And they ran this restaurant called The Shack, which I had been into several times, buy a sandwich. So this story was close to home for me. He also grew up in Modesto. I had friends that knew this guy. Very weird case. So it says here that, let's get the update on this. Janie Peterson, who is married to Scott's older brother, Joe, says there's evidence that was completely ignored that showed Lacey was alive after he left for the day. Janie's comment has not been corroborated by law enforcement. She made similar remarks in May in an interview in Modesto, California, town where Scott lived with Lacey. The outlet reported that over the years, Janie has become an amateur sleuth who's created a war room full of clues she says points to her brother-in-law's innocence. So, during Scott's trial, the defense raised a theory that on the morning that Lacey went missing, she had a confrontation with men robbing her neighbor's house. Wow. So maybe she saw something. The men denied any involvement in the case and were cleared by a police investigation. But Janie believed that they killed Lacey and framed Scott by disposing of her body in an area where he happened to be fishing. Well, there you go. It's all possible. What you don't want to do is end up in these people's grasp, these law enforcement people. Stay as far away from this kind of stuff as you can. And if you end up in one of these situations, you know, if this guy's innocent, a lot of people think it's a slam dunk that he's not. But how many people do you know that would take out their unborn child and wife just so they can hook up with another girl? People just don't do that because you can't get away with it, even if you wanted to do it. So we will see, you guys. Unbelievable. So those are the headlines between the headlines. And we'll be back on here Monday. Take care and be safe, you guys.